right, guys. Welcome to week 4 of the league. A lot of stuff happened last week, as you guys can see from the standings here. A lot of teams got a lot better. A lot of teams got a lot worse. We did have a lot of trades this week between some teams that are looking to make the playoffs and some teams that are maybe already looking towards the future. But we will get right into that in just a second. Taking a look at the standings here in the West, it's kind of just right in a line basically. You got the LA Finesse still at 3-0. They went 3-0 against the West. Again, the first 3 weeks of the season were all against in-division opponents. Now, starting week 4, the next 9 weeks, 10 weeks are against 8 weeks. Sorry, again, the next 8 weeks are against out of division opponents or interdivisional play or interleague play or whatever the hell you want to call it. LA Finesse are at 3-0. The Titans lead at 2-1. Voyagers at 1-2, and the Wise Guys at 0-3. The Central is a little bit more balanced. You got 2 guys at 2-1, and the Bunny Bangers and Tiger Sharks, and the Quailmen and the Trolls are at 1-2. In the East, though, the Heaters have a 2-game lead already. 3 games into the season. He's 3-0. Got a 2-game lead up on the 1-2 for all Philadelphia Smeagol's, Room Dogs, and the Dumpster Fire. So the Heaters have again, just like I said last week, a commanding lead in the East. The Finesse are only still a game up, even though they're still 3-0. So that's how competitive the West is right now. The Central is, again, we don't know, crapshoot. We don't know who's going to do that. But the East, looking like Matt's to lose at the moment. So let's get into the power rankings. A lot of changes this week. Lot of changes. Coming in at number 12. I can't defend you anymore, but sorry, man. You got the Washington Wise Guys coming in at number 12. You're 0-3. Haven't won a game. Yeah, got a bit unlucky against Joe, losing by a point. You've put up some decent numbers this year, but nothing amazing. The team hasn't looked. They just haven't been hitting on all cylinders. I mean, you just lost to the Finesse last week, 106-100. So it's almost like if you can't beat 106, you kind of deserve to lose. And I think you deserve to be down here at the bottom, which sucks. Coming in at number 11, dropping again, you got the Trentham Trolls. They looked like garbage last week, only put up 90 against the Tiger Sharks in a loss. Now they're sitting at 1-2. They looked decent first game of the season, but they've dropped 2 straight now. So they're just rolling on down the list. On to number 10, we got the French Quarter Quailmen. That rhymes. The Quailmen lost in heartbreaking fashion. They put up 135 to the Bunny Bangers and lost. And the Bunny Bangers put up 150 in that contest. And the Quailmen have put up, again, some decent numbers. But again, this team, Dan, he just hasn't started the right guys. And right now, I'm going to say it, he's got a guy that, as of now, is out, but he's starting. So we don't know what's going to happen with this team. It's a lot of rookies, a lot of young talent. So the future looks bright for this team. But right now, not looking so hot. Number 10. Coming in at number 9. Keep on falling. You got the Columbia Dumpster Fire. I think until CMC comes back, this team is going to suffer. They've lost, I think, 2 straight now, and they're just coming off of a heartbreaking loss. I mean, you lost CMC, so I mean, it just sucks. You put up only 99. If you'd have had CMC, it still would have been a tough one because P-Man put up 130 on you. So I got you down here at 9. Coming in at number 8, you got the Tampa Bay Tiger Sharks. Again, this 8 through 5 is just so difficult to try and rank because so many of these teams right now are so close. So Rico, don't take it to heart that I put you here at 8. It's just these middle of the pack teams are very tough to rank. But Tiger Sharks are looking, they're not too bad. They're 2-1, but they're in the Central and they're still behind the Bunny Bangers. So we still don't really know what this team's got. They only put up 113 when they beat the Trolls last week. So if this team can start scoring some more points, maybe they can move up the boards here and get some more wins. Coming in at number 7, dropping again way down, you got the Vietnam Voyagers. They've dropped 2 straight now. Lost against the Finesse a couple of weeks ago. They lost to the SC Titans Elite by 11 points, so not that bad of a loss. Put up 120 in the process and lost to Joe. Of course, you never know. But yeah, the Voyagers dropping down. They did make some trades this week to try and bolster up that quarterback spot and that backup running back position. Coming in the top 6 at number 6, you got the soaring Wisconsin Bunny Bangers. They've won 2 straight, just put up 150 last week. Going crazy. We'll talk way more about them later on in the video here. But man, they've taken control of the Central. After week 1, they were the worst team in the Central, just looked like dog shit, and now they're number 1 in the Central. So the Central is just going to do this all season, I think. It's just going to keep going back and forth and back and forth. But right now, the Bunny Bangers are leading the Central, so I've got them leading above everybody else in the power rankings in the Central. Coming in at number 5, going up 6 spots just as the Bunny Bangers did, you have the SC Titans Elite. They've won 2 straight, and they are coming off a big win against 2 tough teams. Close wins, only 12-point differential in the 2 wins. But that's the way Joe's team plays. They play to their opponent, and you really just never know what's going to happen with Joe's team. But right now, he's sitting at 2-1. He's got a tough matchup this week, but we'll see if he can pull that one out. Coming in at number 4, dropping down a little bit, we got the Long Island Rune Dogs. Dropping team is, she put up 110 against the Heaters in the game of the week, basically, and lost. Heaters put up 130 in that win, so. But only put up 110 with that team that she has up there. It kind of hurts. She's been hot and cold all season, so who knows if she can get on that kind of crazy run that she did last year to go ahead and win the title. Coming up at number 3, just because, honestly, I didn't really know where else to put you, but you got the Philadelphia Smeagol's at number 3. Again, I would say anywhere from 3 to about 8 are all very, very even right now in terms of talent, record, points scored, and stuff. They're all up there. The Smeagol's have allowed the most points in the league at 412. The Voyagers are right behind them at 411. The only caveat to that is that the Voyagers have scored 30 points more than the Smeagol's overall on the season, but with 2 straight losses on the Voyagers, I've got them down in the power rankings, and with the Smeagol's picking up the win against the Dumpster Fire last week, I've got them going up in the rankings. So that's why they're at number 3. It's kind of really hard to place P-Man here, but that's where I've got you. Coming in at number 2, we got the LA Finesse. They've just blown, 3-0. 3-0. What else can you really say about this team? They moved just across town to the big city and got a new team, new colors, new name, new vibe. 3-0. They're finessing. Coming in at number 1, you all know who it is. The other 3-0 team scored the most points in the league, the Hickory Grove Heaters. They have scored 63 more points than the next highest scoring team, which is the Voyagers. They've put up the only team that's put up over 400 points on the season. They're averaging like 150 a game right now. So, or maybe like 140 or something like that. But still, insane production right now out of the Heaters. I can't keep them out of the top spot forever. So there you go. You are number 1 right now, Matt. The Heaters got a tough matchup this week, so let's see what happens. But let's get on to the matchups. Matchup number 1. We got the French Quarter Quailmen at 1-2, flying all the way out to Los Angeles to take on the undefeated LA Finesse. This is going to be a tough tough game this week. Right now, the Finesse are winning, but I mean, Patrick Mahomes, James Robinson, who was traded to him, got put in the lineup immediately, put up 20 points, of course, right? For the Finesse, Jamar Chase put up 10. Excuse me, for the Quailmen. But right now, it's not looking hot for the Quailmen, as they've got a guy on the that's out. Yeah, don't get mad at me for saying on the video, but the guy's out and he's in the starting lineup right now. And he didn't start Tyler Boyd, who he got out of a trade for me as well. The Voyagers traded with both of these teams in the past week. One of these teams, the Finesse, utilized that trade and got 20 points out of it. The other team, the Quailmen, did not play the player that they got in the trade, and they lost out on 16 points. And they've got a player that is sitting in their starting lineup that's out. So technically, if this team loses by anything less than 16, Dan ought to be kicking himself. But we'll see what happens here. Big game. Big swing game. Huge game for the Quailmen. If they can pull off the upset here, woo, it's going to get crazy. Matchup number 2. We got the Long Island Roondogs taking a little trip over to Wisconsin to play the Surgeon Bunny Bangers at 2-1. No one really saw this team coming out at 2-1, but here they are. They have a better record than the current champion Roondogs, and this will be a tough matchup as well for both squads. Right now, no one has scored anything, but according to Sleeper, it's saying that the Roondogs are going to take it. But again, the Bunny Bangers put up 150 last week, so you never know. I think it's all kind of riding on Aaron Rodgers, Adam Thielen, and Tonyan. Since Gronk is out, I think if Tonyan has a good game, the Bangers have a very good chance to take this game. On the flip side, Lamar Jackson is a little bit dinged up, but I mean, he's kind of always dinged up, so I'm not really worried about that. She needs Saquon Barkley to step the hell up. If not, this team may fall to 1-3, and that could be crucial. But again, this team won it all last year after starting with the garbage record, so who knows, right? Matchup number 3. We got the Tampa Bay Tiger Sharks flying all the way out to Santa Clara to play the Titans Elite. Both teams are 2-1. This is a matchup that is always that's always looked forward to, because both of these teams are very squirrely. Both of them kind of get lucky and unlucky at the same time, and sometimes at the same time. So this is going to be a very, very interesting matchup here. I don't know who's going to win it. Right now, they both basically have the same points scored right now. But yeah, this is a big game for both teams, but I would say it's probably bigger for the Titans Elite. They want to keep that streak going. If the Tiger Sharks lose, though, they're in the Central, so it's almost like you can take more losses in the Central. The Central here is kind of like the NFC East, where you can go to the playoffs with a losing record, I think, this year. But we'll see how that plays out later on in the season. Matchup number 4. We got the Hickory Grove Heaters, best team in the league at 3-0, flying all the way out to Vietnam to play the disappointing so far 1-2 Vietnam Voyagers. Right now, though, it's looking like an upset because DJ Chark went out on the first play that I don't even know if he was even in on the play. First play, rolled his ankle, out. So he has 0 points. Match wide receiver 2. He's got 5 points from his defensive lineman right now. The Voyagers have not played anybody. So this is a huge game for the Voyagers to try and take this upset with this beat-up squad right now. If the Voyagers somehow lose and start out 1-3, and the Heaters starting out 4-0, it's not gonna look good for my team. Matchup number 5, rivalry game of the week. Again, these according to Matt. Rivalry game of the week. You got the Columbia Dumpster Fire at 1-2, taking a short trip over to Trenton to play the Trolls, who are also 1-2. This is a weird matchup because the Trolls have been extremely disappointing, scoring the fewest points in the league. And the Dumpster Fire, well, they're the Dumpster Fire. They're going to find a way to lose. They just always do. They always have. And it looks like they always will. And they're going to be sans CMC. We'll see if the Columbia Dumpster Fire can pull out the win here. But I'm not betting on it. I don't know whoever bet on that, but we'll see. It looks like the Trolls team is a little bit questionable to play. And I think the Dumpster Fire are really banking on Kareem Hunt to have a big game. Because if not, I don't really believe in James Conner, but which the Trolls just traded to the Dumpster Fire earlier, like yesterday. So it's going to be interesting to see if that Conner trade bites the Trolls in the ass or if it helps them out. We'll see. Both teams are 1-2. On to the game of the week. You got the Philadelphia Smeagol's at 1-2, flying across the country to play the 0-3 Washington Wise Guys. Now, again, this is Matt's game of the week from his prediction video. Whatever. So you got the Smeagol's, who are 1-2. They finally got their first win against the Roondogs last week, and which they should have. And was it the Roondogs? Pretty sure it was the Roondogs. And the Wise Guys are right now, I guess you would say, the unluckiest team in the league. Just 0-3. You know, the last 2 losses by a total of 12 points, and you know, it's just tough right now for the Wise Guys. But this is the game of the week. The Wise Guys can even things up. If they can finally get a win, if they can finally get one, then they can do some damage. They already got 13 points out of Joe Mixon on Thursday night, and they got 5.5 out of their kicker, the rookie Evan McPherson, out of Florida. So he kicked the game winner. So he's looking like a solid rookie pickup. It's just that the Bengals are either getting in the end zone or they're punting. It doesn't really seem like they, you know, are kicking that many field goals this year, but who knows? You know, who knows what's going to happen. But the Smeagol's are coming in a little bit banged up, not too bad, but he's got a lot of tough matchups for his squad. So we'll see if the Wise Guys can hold this 18-point lead. According to Sleeper, he's going to lose, but again, you can never really trust Sleeper with these fucking predictions. And yeah, speaking of predictions, on to predictions. Thank you, E-Man, last week. You went 3-3 on your picks, which is, I guess, as Rico would say, the word of the day, 3-3, middling. We are now 7-11 overall at a 39% rate. Win rate, we got to get that up, guys. Come on. I'm trying to start a winning tradition here. You know, we got to get over 500 here on this prediction percentile. Next week, Nate is up. So Nate, everyone is going to get to meet Nate next week if you haven't met him already from the Chug Chat or wherever. Nate's got the video next week. But these are Matt's picks this week. Thank you, Matt, for the very entertaining video. It was a little bit different format, different vibe, but I liked it. I thought it was hilarious. So I know some people didn't like it, but you know, again, there's no rule about having to be on camera or having to talk about the matchups or anything. So with that format, totally fine. It's just that you have to make a video. That's the only rule with the predictions. And on to Matt's predictions. He's got the LA Finesse over the French Quarter Quailmen. He's got the Roondogs taking over the Bunny Bangers in a big matchup. In a slight rivalry, we got the Tiger Sharks over the Titans Elite. I like to think of it as a rivalry, Joe and Rico. You got the Heaters and Voyagers, obvious rivalry here. The rivalry game of the week, you got the Dumpster Fire over the Trolls. And the game of the week, the Smeagol's over the Wise Guys. Again, yeah, he's got the Heaters over the Voyagers. And again, all these picks are made before the Thursday night game. So hopefully that Heaters-Voyagers game is a mistake pick. But again, we'll see. You never really know. But hopefully we can get these this overall record on the picks up. On to golf. Hole 3 or week 3. Big change. Nate. Big change was Nate this week. Nate was sitting at, I think, three over par last week. He shot 5 down. 5 under par. Now he's sitting in 4th. He went from last to 4th. It's pretty good. We still got Matt up here at the top. He only got 1 birdie last week, but that's still pretty good. I mean, he's got a 6-stroke lead over second place. The Mans, E-Man and P-Man sitting at 4 under par. Nate at 2 under par. Germ at 1 under par. Joe and Rico tied at still just even par. Hunter, Dan, and Mandy are all sitting at 2 over par. Tebow didn't have himself a good week. He's now sitting over at 3 under, and Braden got another double bogey. So he's now just dead last, 5 over. But again, last year we saw Joe, I think, at 12 over par at one point. So, you know, anything can change. He didn't finish at 12 over. I still think he finished at like 11 over or something like that. But I will say that, guys, the Sleeper did change the weekly report setup. So it used to be where we had around 23 or 22 awards, good or bad awards. Now it doesn't look like they're taking into account on the phone. This is on the mobile app. I'm not sure about on the computer. Hopefully it's the same on the computer, but as of now, as you can see, the format is different for the weekly report. On the mobile app, it's not taking into account the defensive players played. So as in the best defensive lineman, linebacker, and not safety, defensive back of the week, and not the worst, bench warmer, defensive lineman, linebacker, and defensive back of the week. It's not taking those into account on the mobile app. We'll see what happens after this week. Hopefully it still accounts for those on the computer version of the weekly report. If not, we will just be taking it from this. There are some different things in here. There's one called lowest. You can probably look at it, but there's one called lowest points in win. E-Man got it last week. I'm not going to give you a birdie for that because you scored shitty points and you got lucky. Unless, that's up to you guys. We can have a vote in the league about that because, we can have a vote about it on how to score the golf. It's just golf, but we can have a vote because Sleeper did update this and it did change some shit. So we'll have to probably vote on that to see what we're going to start accounting for and whatnot. But yeah, that's about it, guys. I hope you guys have a good week. I had to put Justin Tucker up here. Guy just broke the record for longest field goal ever kicked by 2 yards. And he doinked it off the damn crossbar. And of course, it was against the Lions. And of course, it was the game. It was to win the game. And of course, it was in Detroit to do it. So that's the most Lions way to lose. But until then, guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, hit me up in the chat. But good luck. Woo.